Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the tent. Greetings to everyone out there. My name is Christy, spelled with an E. And if you are new here, in the past 2 years, I've lost 80 pounds, completely changed my diet and lifestyle. And my goal now is to share what I have learned with all of you so that you too can lead a healthy life. We are talking about The Hateful Eight today. And no, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about seed oils, also known as vegetable oils. And if you don't know, this is Lucky. He has to be involved in everything. When I'm talking seed oils or vegetable oils, what I mean is canola, corn, cat hair, cottonseed, soy, sunflower, safflower, grapeseed, and rice bran. And right now, currently in America, over 80% of our fat intake in our diets is these oils. It used to be that we only ate animal fat, maybe occasionally olive oil. And I did bring a couple of preps with me. This is lard. This is what we would call pig fat. Great for frying. I don't make my own. I haven't tried that yet. This is tallow. This is beef fat made from suet. That's what they call beef fat. And I am going to do a video this weekend on making tallow again because that was so much fun and I think I know a little bit better of what I'm doing. But this is what I use mainly for my cooking. This is my last jar. So I need to make more. But I wanted to go over a little bit on the dangers of these seed oils or vegetable oils. They are a waste product, and they wanted to figure out how they could use them. And they thought, well, maybe we could put them in food. And they had to deodorize them and put them through these harsh chemical processes to get what we have today. And these seed oils, they are full of omega-6 fatty acids, which is an unstable. It's the bad fatty acids, bad omega-6. The good omegas are the omega-3s. And that's what's found in, beef fat, coconut oil, avocado oil, the good things. And there was something I saw in a presentation by Chris Knob, MD. He's with Low Carb Down Under. I will link a video of his because he has all the graphs and can explain things much better than I can. But in a nutshell, in 1822 in America, sugar use was on the rise. And in 1866, that is when seed oils were developed. And in 1911, we got Crisco. And there's a whole thing about how Crisco, the Procter & Gamble, the makers of Crisco, got the American Heart Association to say they paid them off, by the way. The makers of Crisco paid off the American Heart Association to say that Crisco was heart healthy because it lowered LDL cholesterol. Now, an interesting thing is that our brains are made up of cholesterol. We need cholesterol. It's not a bad thing. The man who initially came up with the idea that cholesterol is bad was a man named Ancel Keys. He had a study called the 7-country study, and it was not well done. It was a faulty study, and that is what everybody hinges that on. And it was his logic that brought us to where we are today. So if you want to blame somebody, blame Ancel Keys because that was all his fault. And the way that you can see the correlation between those is, well, let's look at diseases. So we have coronary disease. That's one of the number one killers. Back in 1912, that was the very first case in the United States of coronary disease. And then in 2010, you've got 1 out of 10 people. Next we'll talk about cancer. In 1811, there was 1 in 118 people that got cancer. In 2010, it's 1 of 3. For type 2 diabetes, in 1890, 0.0028% of people had type 2 diabetes. That's basically non-existent. And in 2016, it was 13%. I'm one of those people. I had type 2 diabetes. I've reversed it. I still need to manage it because I'm still prone to have issues with sugars and oils. Alzheimer's disease, 1908, that was the first case, and that's how it got its name, by Dr. Alzheimer, who diagnosed the very first case of Alzheimer's disease. In 2023, over 55 million. All of these chronic diseases have just skyrocketed over the past 150, 200 years. It's absolutely crazy. Obesity in 1900, 1% of people, I think it was 1.2%, just a little over 1% of people were obese. Now, it's almost 50%. In 2018, it was a little over 42%. That is a huge increase. We've seen gigantic increases in all of these chronic diseases. And I could go on there. The video, I will link it in the description, the Low Carb Down Under, because they get into better details than I could remember to put in here. So I will add that into the description so that you can go and look for yourself. Because like I said before, I am a big believer in do your own research. Find out for yourself. That is what helped me. I started by reading labels. And if I couldn't pronounce it or didn't know what it was, I didn't get it. And sugar has many different words. You've got corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, sucralose, all of these no-calorie sweeteners, which are also bad for you. They're, aspartame is considered a carcinogen, which can cause cancer. And nobody wants cancer. The processed food that we're eating, it tastes good. I will totally admit that. It does taste good, but it's poison. I mean, you feed rat poison to a rat, they're going to eat it. Why? Because it tastes good to them. The same thing is happening to us. And the medical community is aware of it, but they turn a blind eye to it because of profit, because they're getting paid by these companies to promote their products. You can go into any grocery store and pick up a bottle of vegetable oil, that yellow liquid on the shelf, and it'll say right on the label, heart healthy. All it does is it lowers LDL cholesterol. Well, so does arsenic. I'm not saying that it's the same as arsenic. I'm just saying that just because it lowers one thing doesn't make it good for us. We have to look at the whole picture. And I don't believe that sugar is the only bad guy in this. I think it's a contributing factor, but I don't put all the blame on sugar. I put the blame on seed oils. The seed oil consumption, it's in almost every single food. When I decided that I was going to cut seed oils out of my diet completely, it was hard. It's in everything. I make a lot of my own food anyways, but you can't get away from it. It's almost impossible. And that's why I've switched to my fantastic tallow. And oh, by the way, I wish you guys could smell this because it smells so good. I love the smell of tallow. And another thing I've noticed with cooking, when you cook burgers, for example, on the stove in a pan, and after they're done, after you've eaten, you go back to wash your dishes. How does your pan smell? Does it smell good or does it smell bad? Because mine still smells good now. It is also cleaner or easier to clean up, which is fantastic because I don't like to have to sit there and scrub my pots and pans. But that was one thing that I learned, was that these seed oils, this is what's causing all of our chronic illnesses and diseases, and they're everywhere. Their prevalence is everywhere. They're almost impossible to get away from. And I know that that makes things very hard, especially when you're on a budget, to try and find ways to eat that is healthy, that is going to actually be good for you. And I've struggled with that too. I'll be like, oh, cool, I can eat this. And I'll look at the bag and go, no, I can't. And it's very disappointing sometimes. I'm working on getting some different recipes for things. I made some carnivore cookies the other day. And like I said before, carnivore doesn't necessarily mean meat. Meat is part of carnivore, but so are eggs. And these cookies I made were mainly using egg whites. They're basically meringues, and I will do another video on those when I make them next time, because they are really, really good. I'm just working on perfecting the recipe to make it really good. So once I've had that recipe down, I will share that with you all so that you can make a little sweet treat for yourself as well, because we all like our sweet treats, don't we? I am guilty of that as well. I love having a sweet treat here and there. When it comes to chocolate, instead of eating a regular chocolate bar, I would get like a Lily's chocolate bar, because that's better. It's sweetened with stevia. And I decided to go away from that chocolate because it is processed too. And if I want chocolate now, I will have some cocoa nibs, and they're really, really good too. And they can be put on smoothies. You can just eat a little handful of them, and they are a sweet little treat as well. So I hope that has helped y'all a little bit. I hope that wasn't too confusing for y'all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them down in the comments. I will respond. I do read all of the comments. And if you have made it this far into this video, give yourselves a round of applause. And I thank you so very much for joining me on this journey to living a healthy lifestyle and living longer without chronic diseases. I don't ever want to get Alzheimer's. It used to be unknown, and now it's all over the place. So that's one of my goals in my life, and I would love to help you in your goals as well. We can all do this together. So I hope that you have a wonderful day and a great weekend coming up, and I will catch you all later. Toodles.